mean, yeah, he likes attention, but I give him negative attention. You know, my job, one of my jobs, is to grab him in an ankle lock and drag him into the light. You know, he wants to show himself off as a rock star, you know, and something great and mighty. And I want to show him off, warts and all. This is what you're getting. You know, he can't be trusted. You can't want to do anything or have anything that he can give you. You know, I'm in favor of not giving him credit for everything, but you've got to give him credit for what he's guilty of. You've got to show the world that in a natural progression, we would never have done abortions. There's nobody that thought, oh, my life would be so much better if I murdered my baby. Nobody would really think that. That had to be the devil influencing somebody. And I think knowing that is half the battle. If you don't know who the enemy is, how are you going to fight it?
Thank you. Hi, speaking of the role of the, was there any more detail on what happened? Two other babies that were not
All three babies that didn't get aborted from me got adopted. What was the first half of that question?
Just more details on how you escaped being part of that event.
I plotted my escape for 8 months. On my bank account, my real bank account at any one time usually had about $265 in it. I slowly pilfered money out of my own account. I didn't want to be accused of stealing Satan's money. So, and I plotted my escape, I routed it, I knew where I was going to go. I knew, but in my mind, I was going to sell my car for scrap and get a Greyhound ticket, and I had a place to go in Canada. I had friends in Canada, and I knew that I could get away and live off the grid and everything would be fine. But I got rejected at the border. So I ended up living in Oklahoma instead for 3 years. And then when I tried to get in again, same friends said they would take me. And I got rejected again. You know, so I thought I was still going to get in. And, you know, the best laid plans of mice and men, you know, nothing ever works quite the way you plan it to. You know, even when I come to these talks, I try and get here a day in advance. Because the first day you get here, everything goes wrong. And everything went wrong the first day I was here. Luckily, it didn't happen to me, it happened to my assistant.
Yes.
I have two questions. One, how is it that you were able to go off the grid and not be followed by Satan? Like how he didn't find you where you were, and because you supposedly sold your soul. The second question is, so many people have addictions from drugs and alcohol that they fight and battle with all their lives. How is it that you were so involved in that world and you were able to just walk away without those addictions as you moved down to Vermont?
I had a lot of those addictions still when I got to Burlington, Vermont. At some point, I wasn't the type that, oh, I can't afford that, I'm gonna go rob somebody. And that wasn't my mentality. I can't afford it, I guess I'm gonna have to stop. That was my mentality. So, you know, going cold turkey for certain things was rather difficult, but I did it because I couldn't afford it. You know, but I also think that a lot of things that happened were grace. When I became Catholic, not official Catholic, but when I was given the medal, I instantly stopped smoking weed. Weed was my go-to drug. I had no desire to smoke anymore. I loved mushrooms, I stopped taking them. I loved alcohol, and I stopped drinking. You know, I couldn't drink a lot of my favorite drinks because I would get nauseous just thinking about them. You know, and being able to escape Satanism, how could Satan not find me? My theory is that I was wrapped in a blue cloak and he couldn't find me, couldn't see me.
Next question.
Zach, I got a question. What was your first confession like? Subsequently, what was the first time like that you received our Lord?
My first confession, you know, I did my confession at the priest rectory, and when I walked inside, the grass was green like it is every day. There was a tree outside, the sky was blue, no big deal. And my priest had told me that I could use the 10 Commandments to condense. My confession didn't have to be Ivanhoe or War and Peace. You know, I could just do the best I can. And I used the 10 Commandments, had an examination of conscience for him. And it took me about 45 minutes to do my confession. And then I really thought he was going to say, you know, you have to do 100 rosaries. And he gave me like 3 Hail Marys. And yeah, I was like, okay. And so I did that, and then it was the following weekend, I got the Eucharist for the first time. You know, actually, when I did my first confession, I was so worried that I was never going to feel this good again, because I'm never going to confess that much ever again. That was a crazy amount of sin to have to confess. And you know, I didn't know, I'd never been in a state of grace. I had no idea what that was going to feel like. And then suddenly, I was in a state of grace, and I walked outside the rectory, and the green grass was popping. The tree that I walked in, and the tree was there, when I came outside, that tree was made by God. And the sky was a brighter shade of blue than I had ever seen it. And it was a beautiful day. I felt like I walked into the confessional and I floated out. I'd never been that light because I'd never been in a state of grace. It was an awesome day. And then 7 days later, I'm taking the Eucharist for the first time. And I actually had a group of friends with me that I had made at the church, but they were walking up behind me because they were afraid I was going to pass out or, you know, get resting in the spirit or something. And they asked me, you know, I said, what's the difference in people receiving on the hand versus the tongue? And he said, it's just personal preference. Which way do you want to receive? And I said, I'm not worthy to touch him. I'll take him on the tongue. I've never touched a Eucharist. I consecrated a host in the hand. So, I mean, my hands aren't consecrated by the bishop like the priest hands. I can't touch it. I was asked in an interview what I thought of that. And I said, if everybody that received in the hand did so with the reverence of the woman that knew if she touched the hem of his cloak, she'd be healed, I'd be okay with it. But what I see when I see people receive in the hand, they pop it in their mouth. You know that every little piece of that Eucharist is an equal part of Jesus. Well, after they do that, and they've got the accidentals in their hand, they brush them off on their pants. So then Jesus drops to the floor, and then the person behind them steps on Jesus as they walk by. So that I am against. But I received, I had no idea what it was going to be like. receive, that's a grand day. I mean, that is such a major part of our armor. And you have no other way to get that. You have to go and you have to receive. You know, and I truly believe that the reason that our church, all of our churches are shrinking. You know, when our grandparents went to Mass, it was standing room only. And now we go there and we can sit in any pew we want, anywhere we want. And the reason for that is because 85% of our church does not believe in the true presence. You know why we closed our doors during the pandemic? Because nobody believes in the true presence. That includes bishops. Jesus is not going to give me COVID.
Other question, go ahead.
Okay, so I am.
Give us your name.
Jessica. I am going to be that person to ask you who the president was, and I also want to know about Bill Gates and anybody else.
The person that didn't get put there, other than Trump, was Jimmy Carter. When Jimmy Carter ran, the official Illuminati stance on him was that nobody's going to vote for this redneck peanut farmer. And they didn't push anybody. And they were shocked when he won. So the next time around, they fully backed Ronald Reagan. And now I'm supposed to tell a story about Bill Gates? Strange. Do I have that, Jack?
Yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
love this story.
So there's a meeting that started, they started them probably, I'm going to guess about 40 or 50 years ago, maybe a little more. And the very first one was held in Hotel de Bilderberg. So everybody knows that as the Bilderberg group, or the Bilderberg meetings, even though they're not all held at the Bilderberg anymore. Now this is the world's billionaires, sometimes millionaires.
This is in Germany.
This particular time is in Germany. I'm in Potsdamer Platz, Germany. It's around 1990 or 91. The High Wizard is invited to all these events. Sometimes you just can't pass the law you want to pass. You can't move a motion through. And you need a little magic to help you. But some people's magic isn't as strong as other people's. And the High Wizard is handpicked by Satan. So that'd be the perfect person to use. So a High Wizard gets invited. Not always the same one. Remember, there could be as many as 10 of us. And we're traveling the world trying to work for the devil, do what we can. So I get invited to this Bilderberg meeting. This was the first one I'd ever been invited to. And it's in like I said, it's in a hotel. It's in a very nice place. And I'm staying in a hotel, but I'm not staying in the same one. There's a giant meeting room. And this meeting room has an executive table for these meetings, and this table is probably 30 to 40 feet long. Now, in this room, to give you the important things of the room, there's about 30 billionaires, there's the table, there's the High Wizard, and there's a large metal tub filled with ice and Dr. Pepper. That's my request. That was my favorite drink at the time, and I like them ice cold. So I have one of those I'm drinking, and we're waiting for one billionaire to show up. But I don't know who that is. And really, I don't care. Let's just get the show on the road. Let's get going. I got stuff to do. I'm gonna be here for probably a few days. Then at the end of this, I got other places to go to. Finally, two doors fling open, and Bill Gates walks in. He looks much smaller in person. And he brings in an entourage, and they're all carrying these dome trays. And I'm kind of excited because I'm thinking food. It's a good day. I'm going to be fed. But instead, when they take the domes off, there's these drinks that are in like 14-inch containers. And he starts handing them out to everybody. People have got these gross looks on their faces. I mean, like, they're like, you know, so I'm like, no, let's see what we got here. And they put one down in front of me. And I look at it. It's red and green in the glass. And it stinks. Oh my gosh, does it stink. I slide it across the table and keep drinking my Dr. Pepper. And he tells everyone that this is adrenochrome and it will make you live longer. You'll live to be really old, it's really healthy. Everybody needs to drink this. Everybody's got it in their hand and no one's really putting it up to their mouth. And he's yelling now, you have to drink it. This is something you have to do. So some of these people are sipping on it. I'm pretty sure some people fake that sip because it was just foul. And some people I think were putting it up to their lips but not actually ingesting it. I know somebody had to be lying because he put it up to his lips and said, it's good. It's like, you know that drink wasn't good. And he finally looks at me and he says, you're not taking a drink? I said, no, I'm not. And he wants to know why. And I said, I don't want to. And I took another drink of my Dr. Pepper. And he told me that I have to take a drink. No, I don't. And he said, yes, you do. Now, I'm standing up at this time, so he tells everybody to stand up. So since he told us all to stand up, I sat down. I sat down and I put both my feet up on the table, crossed them at the ankles, and now he's screaming that I need to take a drink. So I did, of my Dr. Pepper. And he started flailing his arms all around. When Bill Gates gets mad, his voice goes up about 6 octaves. I was like so entertained. And then he started stomping his feet. Like his legs, his knees are going way up. He's almost goose-stepping. And just stomp, 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 stomp. And his arms are flailing all around. And his voice is, like I said, 6 octaves up. And what I was waiting for, I thought it would be perfect if he started jumping up and down. And that would be the height of my entertainment for the day. But he didn't do that. So then I just got bored with the way he was acting. It wasn't as much fun in the end as it was in the beginning. And he ordered me to take a drink. And I said, I don't have to do anything you say. I don't have to do anything anybody wants me to do. And he told me that I did. He said, you have to do what I say. You have to do. And before he could say it again, I waved my arm over him. And suddenly he couldn't move. And he screamed, what did you do to me? I can't move. You know, and somebody said, well, try waving your arms all around like you did before. He said, I can't. Then try stomping your feet like a child like you did before. I can't do that either. And I picked up 2 more Dr. Peppers out of the tub and carried my 3 Dr. Peppers out the door. Walked out to my limo, drove back to my hotel. Walked in my room at the hotel, and my phone was ringing. And we answered the phone the first time, and he wasn't ready to apologize, so we hung up and unplugged the phone. I got my makeup removed, I got all my clothes off, I took a shower, I came out, I watched a little TV, and I got redressed, and we went out for dinner. And then while we were out after that, we went out for drinks. Went out and did some dancing,